All right, welcome everybody to our official certification program info session with the California Master Beekeeper Program at UC Davis. You have signed up to explore what you can expect in this program. My name is Wendy Mather. I'm co-manager with my colleague Keon and our program director, Alina. And I've been with the program for almost 8 years. The program itself has been in operation for 9 years. And it is, I must say, a community effort. As a California Master Beekeeper, we all work together to create a program that is sustainable, not only for ourselves, but also for our bees. So I am really excited to share with you the program that we've created and that we have co-created with the rest of beekeepers across the state. And I'm going to turn it over to Kian because he's going to share his journey with the camp. And he'll also mention to you I'm going to put you on the spot, Kian, just a couple of numbers with regards to um, what are the numbers in the camp
Yeah,
lately,
that's
right?
I'm glad I checked right before, luckily unprompted, so I
Ah,
have them
yeah.
some of them in my head. Good evening, everyone. My name is Keon. I'm the other co-manager of the California Master Beekeeper Program. I'm also extremely excited to share the program with you tonight. I've been with camp as an employee for 3 years now. Time flies, and originally I was at UCLA working on computer science degree of all things, just 3.5 years ago. And one of the club projects I was working on was building beehives. And none of us knew anything about beehives. Many of you in the audience may know that UCLA is more of a biomedical school. They don't have much ag like UC Davis. So really no one, including sustainability officer, knew anything about beekeeping. But this just goes to show the power of camp. California Master Beekeeper Program, which Wendy was a part of at that time, supported us to build the beekeeping program at UCLA from scratch. And, California Master Beekeeper Program, that's what we do. We support organizations and people like you. If you've already started beekeeping or if you're completely new to beekeeping, we're here to show you what beekeeping is about, the methods, how much time it's going to take, how much fun you're going to have. Hopefully, we'll get to inspire you. And as Wendy mentioned, our director is Dr. Elena Nino, and she's the brains of the operation. She's done all the research. She's internationally renowned. We're really happy to share a very strong curriculum with you that is built on her research and updated every year, and also based on the research of all the other labs that we work with across the state.
Yeah.
So we'd like to learn a little bit about you. UCLA staff member here. Welcome, Gino.
Hmm.
Let me start this poll for everyone. So please fill out this poll if you have a chance and you're able to. We'd love to learn a little bit about how many hives you have, where you're from.
It was a beautiful day at the lab today, Kian. The apiary is looking incredible. The bees are buzzing. The hives are just bopping. They're bubbling over. Lots of bees. It's a perfect day. The weather was just fabulous. I did note though, I gotta say, I noted that the bees were really they were gathering up on the sugar stand where we keep some of the syrup and stuff. They were
Oh, that
they
barrel.
were yeah, they were pretty thirsty. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I noticed the week before when I came, a bunch of the bees were going where the drip irrigation was watering the
yes.
plants in the bee
Yeah.
haven.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they know where to go.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, I'm going to end the poll here. Thank you for participating. So we have everyone who answered 0 hives. This is exciting. Hopefully, we're going to get you in the program and interested to start beekeeping. Most of the participants tonight are in NorCal. And just a note, so this is a statewide program, right? So we have people all across the state, and we hope to also offer in-person opportunities for everyone through our partners all across the state. But our headquarters are at UC Davis. So when Wendy and I were talking, that was about UC Davis. How did you hear about the program? Google search, that's a big one, and other. And are you part of a local beekeeping club? About 70% of people are not, and 30% of people are.
Lots of opportunity. That's cool, especially if you don't have hives. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and so one of the ways we like to start this presentation is share with you a little bit of background on why do people beekeep? And what inspires people, right? Because people come to beekeep for many different reasons, and sometimes people get involved in beekeeping for sustainability reasons, right? You've heard very likely the colony collapse disorder syndrome. You've heard that pollinators are having a hard time right now. Some people want to support pollinators and they want to be beekeepers to do that. Sometimes people want to start their own business. Being a beekeeper can be a great small business or medium-sized business or large business if you want to go all the way. There's all levels. Sometimes it's just great to do. When I say entertainment, we're saying like it can be therapeutic to be with bees and spend time with them in the yard, with your kids maybe. Aesthetics, some people like to have beehives in their backyards because it looks cool. Drink some wine, watch the bees in the distance, and also just have more bees and pollinators and living beings getting to interact with. And then health as well. So I mentioned this a little bit about the therapeutic nature of beekeeping. There's been studies on it. It's just in some ways kind of like having a pet, dangerous pet. But there's different perspectives on how to look at it, but it could be really great for your health.
Hmm.
Get you outside, moving around. You know. So there's diverse goals in beekeeping, and we acknowledge and uplift all of these goals. So whatever your goal is in beekeeping, maybe you don't know your goal yet. We're here to help you find your goals, and it's important to have goals and pursue those goals. And our curriculum really has a very broad reach, so you're going to get to talk about all of those points. And also, you may have heard that adage, ask a beekeeper one question or ask 5 beekeepers 5 questions, you'll get 10,000 answers, something like that. And it's very true because in beekeeping is a very creative pursuit because in many ways, whenever you run into a problem, there's many different ways to solve it. And solving, there is no one right answer in many cases. So what we want to teach is like a framework to help you problem solve. Not tell you this is the only right way to do it, but give you like a problem solving toolkit. That's really the level of education that we're trying to share. And so there's different types of bee stocks, kind of like different breeds of bees. Some of them produce more honey, some of them are better with pests and diseases. There's different hive types. There's different bee product extraction methods to get the honey out, for example. There's different ways to treat for pests and diseases. We're not saying this to overwhelm you. We're saying this because this is fun. You're going to get to learn a lot and kind of figure out what's the way that you like to do things. You want to be really gentle with the bees, or you want to get done fast. It's kind of up to you, and it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is on the front page of the website. And I want to acknowledge everybody here. If nobody has bees, you started in the right place. You're learning about them before you get them. It's, uh, I don't know if I go out and buy myself a cow or a goat and stick it in my backyard and expect to know how to take care of it. Same with chickens. I don't know much about chickens either. I could probably manage, I could probably, YouTube it and stuff, but um, mm-mm. I commend you for your care and consideration in animal husbandry by taking this course prior to engaging in beekeeping. Yeah, that's such wisdom and discernment. And these are 9 questions that are worth answering. And these 9 questions will help guide you towards your goals and your intentions in beekeeping as well. So, and if they're on the front page of the website, so I'm not going to read them. Certification levels are pretty fun too. Honeybee Ambassador, for those of us who have yet to keep bees, is a fun place to start because it's a whole new world, as they say, and you can dive in and just with a fresh, open mind and just watch, what's got me curious about bees, right? There are so many things to get curious about. And you can ask yourself, do I want to join a club? Do I want a mentor? Can I have bees? Does my local, do my local rules and ordinances where I live allow me to? Do I have the financial resources? Is there somebody at my club who will let me come to their apiary just so I can have a peek and, pop a few lids and see if this is truly, really for me? That's what the Honeybee Ambassador level is all about. And know that when you certify at this level, whenever you show up at a gathering, family, if you're sitting around the table with friends or you're out for drinks or whatever, you're now the person at the table who has this science-based knowledge that you can speak to and share and raise the awareness of the importance of science-based beekeeping and honeybee health. At the apprentice level, that's where you roll up your sleeves, you put on your gloves, you light your smoker, and you really get in there and you start learning the practical nature of beekeeping, what you need to do, how to approach the hive, all the things that not only keep you safe, the bees safe, and your neighbors safe, right? And keeping your bees alive. At the journey level, it's a deeper dive into the anatomy, the physiology, the morphology of bees, more focus on queen rearing, even instrumental insemination if you're interested in taking it to the next level from a science-based perspective, right? That's a lot of fun too. The master level is actually project-based. So we're guessing that by the time you've accomplished your journey level, you've got a pretty good feeling as to what brings you joy when you're in your yard, what brings you joy when you're with your bees. And we invite you to consider a project that truly resonates with you, that brings you joy. And there are several different tracks that you can choose. You we've had folks write books. We've had folks train dogs to be American foul brood sniffer dogs. We've had individuals do a lot of curricula for children's education. We've had folks involve themselves extensively in developing native bee gardens and raising up an awareness of native bees. You'll figure out what truly brings you joy. And for the most part, when we as humans really like something, it brings us joy, we're more apt to finish it, right? So, just some considerations for your journey here at the camp.
Yeah. And so we're talking about these different certification levels. And I should mention, California Master Beekeeper Program, first of all, we're a public program, right? So we're available to everyone in the state, as I mentioned earlier. You don't have to be enrolled in any institution per se. There's no academic credit. It's really available for all at all times. You can enroll at any time. And in terms of the like why you'd want to certify, there's a lot of different reasons why you would want to go through the program. I also really like to always say, you take what you'd like, right? We have all these resources available. As you'll see, we'll have a lot of classes, we have a lot of online materials, we have the partner organizations. You may want to just do the honeybee ambassador level or go to the apprentice level and say, okay, this is enough for me. You're gonna have access to all the materials and they're updated every year and you get all the updates forever. So it's really flexible, right? And as I mentioned earlier, goal setting is very important. Figuring out why you're there and why you want to beekeep, because it is a commitment.
And a
It may,
responsibility.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's like a financial commitment, it's a commitment in terms of time. As Wendy says, responsibility is a public safety commitment too. We all know bees can sting, and in the program you'll learn there's different defensiveness levels of different stocks of bees. So some bees that are unmanaged in the wild might be more defensive, and if you don't manage your bees, the genetics can get in. So it's a lot of responsibility, and goal setting helps you stay motivated to see why you're doing this and continue to keep yourself educated and move forward in a responsible manner. Knowledge, as I mentioned, we update all of our curriculum, so the classes and the study guide and all of that every year. Community, this is might be the most important one. Community, so beekeeping, you're going to run into problems where we're not going to cover or we can't even cover in our course, right? Beekeeping, the craziest stuff happens. There, you might have like a moisture problem with a certain type of pest, and then high winds, and then it rained a little bit too much that year, so the ground, your hive might be not have a stable foundation. So very unique challenges that you're going to need to lean on the people in your community, your mentor, maybe your friends, your other beekeepers to help you out. We're here to help you out too, but community is really important. Finding that mentor is really important. Finding that local club is very important as well. And we're going to help you get connected to those people to support you. And credibility. So some people are looking for maybe a career in beekeeping, and having our certification can help with that too. So there's a bunch of organizations we work with all over the state. Here are just some of them. I haven't updated this map in like 2 years, but there's a lot in Southern California. There's some in NorCal, and there's some in Central California as well. And they include beekeeping associations. So those are kind of like just local clubs. There's a CDFA as well, the California Department of Food and Agriculture. We've helped some of their apiary inspectors, which your apiary might be inspected by a county inspector like that. We sometimes train them, and research labs as well, and companies as well. So a lot of great work being done across the state in beekeeping and upcoming beekeeping knowledge or developing new beekeeping knowledge.
Yeah.
And yeah, you want to
Yeah,
go?
like the collaborators like Kian was mentioning, um, you'll see that if depending on where you're at, will depend on who you might want to consider visiting or calling. And the easiest starting point from my perspective would be just sitting down, opening a browser and saying, what is the closest bee club to where I live? And then just reaching out to them first, and showing up for a bee meeting, because most clubs, all the clubs that I've been to anyways, they always welcome their new members, and they have a really solid educational element to them, and folks are willing to help and mentor. And we have, over the last 9 years, trained up. That's basically our mission, right? Train the trainer. So enough folks have come through our program that you might find one or two folks at your local club who've actually done the certification program at some level. So that's a bonus too.
Yeah, you just reminded me in the beginning, you asked about numbers. At 400 people have been certified at the apprentice level so
Yeah,
far, and then the number is different for each level. So
yeah,
a lot of people you can connect with.
yeah.
So a little bit of logistics here on how the program works. So there's a registration process. Then there's orientation, which is kind of similar to this info session, but we go into a little bit more detail in the orientation on how to look at the study guide and sign up for all the classes and all of that. And then there's what we call preparation, which is the studying and taking of the classes and looking at the study guide and going out and having fun and maybe your local club or your local apiary. And then there's evaluation, which is either written test or a combination of a written test and a in-person test where you actually demonstrate what you've learned. And then the most important, number five, is celebration. So you have an annual celebration at UC Davis. If you can't make it to UC Davis, no problem. We do it on Zoom as well. But we'd love to see you make it to the lab. We do tours of the lab and the garden next to it and the whole facilities and all the research going on. So it's a lot of fun. I always look forward to that. So the registration, you go on the website and you don't need to select a exam date right now. So for example, Honeybee Ambassador, you're interested in learning a little bit more about bees, about the history of bees, about how much it costs maybe to start your own beehive, how much time it's going to take. You you just click on the registration. So you go to the certification page, you click register, and you go through the application process, and then you have like over a year to take the exam anytime you're ready. So there is no exam date. You take it when you're ready. We were trying to make this program as flexible as possible. So you can wait till the end if you feel like that's the amount of time that is right for you. Or if you're already ready, you can take it like right after you register. So yeah, it's all up to you. So after you apply on the website, you will wait probably around a week for us to review your application, and then you'll get an acceptance letter from the director, and then that will include the invoice. And then after that, you get the website access and a link to orientation and all the prep resources. And then you also can sign up for the in-person exams at that time too, whenever you're ready. So we're basically going through each of these, right? 1 through 5. So we talked about registration. Now is orientation. So orientation we do about every quarter. And so orientation, you can either come live to the Zoom session just like this. We're going to have one in 2 weeks, by the way. So if you're thinking about registering, might be a good time if you want to join the next upcoming orientation, or you can watch the recording of the most recent orientation. So it's up to you. So a little bit about evaluation for each of those levels. Um, most of the first 3 levels, the last one does that master project that Wendy was talking about. The first 3 levels have a written component to them. And the written component you can do on your own laptop at any time. And it's 2 hours long and it's 80% passing. And we try to make it as accessible and as easy as possible. There's practice exams too, so you'll get comfortable with the process. And then for the apprentice level and journey level, so the second 2 levels, there's also the practical exam. And that is the in-person exam where you're in the hives and you're having fun with the bees. And even that one, we made as flexible as possible. You don't need to drive to UC Davis. We have proctors all across the state through the partner organizations. Or if you don't even, signing up with a proctor, the proctor's not near you, you can also do a Zoom session with us. That's also an option. Or you can even record yourself going through the score sheet, and we'll grade the video that you submit. So many options there. You don't need to drive.
Yeah, it's pretty much a third, a third, a third, basically what we get, right? Third in person, third Zoom, and a third recording sent in. So it's just so um adult friendly, I think. If you're working full time, not everybody has the opportunity to, stop what they're doing and come to Davis or go to Irvine or go to any of the partner organizations to do an in-person practical. So we try and make it as easy as possible. And I got to tell you, I'm not a fan of exam taking, Kian. Maybe you are, but I'm not. And there have been a few in my life that I've not quite passed. And I like the fact that, hey, if we don't get it right the first time, we have an opportunity to try again. So, yeah, at no extra cost. So, and everybody that I've worked with in the years that I've been here always gets it the second time if they haven't gotten it the first time. So, yeah, I our intention is for everybody to be successful and we're here to support. Yeah.
You want to go through each of the levels a little
Yeah.
bit?
Yeah, sure. So the ambassador level, as I mentioned before, you'll learn about the history of bees. You'll learn the beekeeping basics like equipment. You'll learn about the various caste of bees. You'll learn about the basic pests like varroa mites. And it'll set you up to be able to, at the end of the honeybee ambassador level, if you want, and you're working with a mentor, you're going to feel um, pretty confident about getting into a hive. Um, yeah, I went over that. So it's basic IPM management as well, which is also really important because that's how we're going to deal with all the pests and disease. We want some integrated pest management skills, that's for sure. The apprentice level, we double down on that for sure. Um, and basically, what you're seeing there are beekeepers from San Diego, in fact, and they are a community of beekeepers who get together on the regular and work together in just to learn from each other. So if anybody's in that area and you're interested in learning more about that community, just ping us, let us know. Be happy to put you in touch with them. Of course, at this level, like Kian mentioned, 2 hours online exam, which consists of multiple choice, true, false, and matching. Pretty simple. And everything that you need to know for these exams, I got to tell you, it's all in the study guide. You don't have a zillion, a million, and different books and stuff. You can, if you're that kind of learner and you want to dive in and you want to have a good time reading a lot of books and stuff, you can go there. But really, the only thing you need is a study guide that we provide. It's there for you. Oh, and what about that asynchronous course too, right? If you're an independent learner, you want to tell us a bit about that, Kian?
Sure, yeah, I think we have a slide on that actually.
Oh, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so well, wait. Thank you. Yeah, and the journey level, yeah, we just went through all that. The journey level is just another step up. And at the journey level, you get to wow folks with your knowledge of honey and honey tasting, which is always fun. Have folks over for dinner and do a honey tasting with them and help them experiment with the wheel. Also, really digging deep into the anatomy and physiology of a honeybee. Fascinating. I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to just grab a bee and have a look at her or him underneath the scope. Phenomenal. It's truly a thing of beauty, honestly. And kids love it. And drones, of course, the male bees do not sting. And most recently, on some education outreach projects that we've done, we've brought some drones with us and we set up a pet a bee station. Mind blowing. They love it. Yeah. So lots of fun things we can do at the journey level as well. And same deal with the in-person exam. It's 2 hours. Everything you need to know is in the study guide. And the practical element of it is ramped up a bit because you're getting more involved in actually queen rearing and grafting, which is really cool as well. And honey tasting. Yeah, you can demonstrate your competency on how to run a honey tasting. So lots of fun stuff.
Yeah, and I love also the mead making class in the journey level.
Mm, mm,
Mead is fermented honey, and you there's again talking about creativity. You can make so many different types of mead. You can make sweet mead, you can make bitter mead. It's a lot of fun, and
mm-hmm,
it's fermented too, which makes it a
mm-hmm,
lot of fun.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah,
A lot of
yeah,
content here. Also,
yeah.
this content, just to mention, all like most of what are in the slides are on that certification page on the website, and we're going to send this recording to everyone here as well. So, yeah.
This is a lot of fun. And as I mentioned earlier, we've had a whole bunch of really creative ideas, and everything that has been produced is a gift to the state, basically. Folks have opened up stores, really, that sell honey and bee supplies. They've mapped drone congregation areas. They've done fundraising. They've done a website for their local club. Um, uh, Bee removal, bee rescue, all kinds of really cool stuff. So, as you embark on this really unique journey that is, of course, unique to you, keep an open mind as to what really lights you up. Yeah, so there's the cost, basically, and it shows you how it's split up. And it also indicates that we have scholarships based on need and merit. And just as an example of how long it might take from start to finish, Kian, can you speak to the rolling enrollment
Yeah,
again?
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's another great. I'm glad you asked me that. It's helpful to know you can not only take the exam at any time within that window from the time of registration to like I think it's a year and a half for most of them.
yeah.
Also, you can enroll at any time. So there's no enrollment period. You can enroll any time of the year. Right now is generally a good time to get involved because this is middle of beekeeping season. Might be a little bit late if you're a beginner to have bees this year, but no worry, right? There no worries. You can get involved with beekeeping, and there people are going to let you in their hive. People want to talk about their hives, you'll see.
Yeah,
And it takes a year to get started anyway, in many ways.
yeah,
So, but you're in the middle of beekeeping season. We have classes like every weekend. Spring and early summer is really great time to hop in. So, yes, open enroll anytime, but now's a great time to get involved.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and also I'll mention so we're out of UC Davis, but then we're also technically part of UC Extension slash UC A&R, which is Agriculture and Natural Resources. So we're under those auspices and we're kind of like the Master Gardener program in that way. So in terms of how to study, this is fun because I get to share all the different resources that we've been working on since the inception of the program to help you whenever you have a problem out there with the hives. You can come in and hopefully we can answer your question in the study guide or in one of our classes if you really want to go dive deep in a class. So we have different preparation resources. Some are in person, some are there remote, and you get to mix and match to build your own study plan. So I classes are the one that come to mind for most people. The classes, we don't actually take attendance. You don't have to actually attend the classes. We recommend you do, especially if you're starting from scratch. But we recognize that everyone learns in different ways. Some people want to do only textbook. They want to do the textbook front to back, or they only want to study from study guide. It's up to you. So we're going to go through some of these. One is the classes. We have live classes. that you can attend via Zoom, and some of them are also in person. But the very important ones are all available online via Zoom if you can't come to UC Davis. They're also recorded. So a lot of these classes, we offer each class at least once a year. But if you can't make that class for that year, then if you enrolled, for example, at the end and all the beginning classes have already gone through, then you can watch the recording if you don't want to wait till the next one. So we have a video library there at the top right. So once you enroll, you're going to get access to hundreds of videos spanning all the way back. We also have a lot of great guest lectures. So it's not only the, how do you, what do you need to buy to build, to construct your beehive, and how do you manage the pests and diseases. There's also fun topics, like I said, the making meat, and then also there's like talks from Brazil, and there's stingless bees down there that produce honey too, that are completely different, special honey, like a lot of cool stuff. Study plan. So we also have a class planning guide. So there's like a hierarchy to the classes, right? Kind of like a regular college or university program. You don't have to follow these requisites, but it gives you a feeling, oh, I should take this class before this class if I want to kind of know what's going on. And
Yeah, and
yeah,
we currently are doing study groups as well. There's one at the journey level, and there is one at the apprentice level, and there are some members at various clubs who've decided to get together on their own and just, spend an hour at every club meeting going through the study guide together just to keep their minds fresh. So all kinds of different ways to learn and experience um, beekeeping for sure.
yeah, and the instructors as well is great because we have a bunch of different instructors. A lot of them are camp students that went through the whole program, or there might be, the writers of some of the textbooks. You're going to get to learn from a lot of different people and ask questions from and get answers from different perspectives.
Mhm.
There's also the self-guided resources. So study guides, as Wendy mentioned, those have all the information. The practice exams, very helpful. Highly recommend. Take the practice exams before you take the written exams because you're used to the system, and some of the questions might be similar. Okay. And
In
then,
fact, they
yeah.
are, I
Okay,
gotta
yeah.
say. Yeah.
And then the textbook as well is always a great resource. We have 4 or 5 books we recommend. You can kind of choose depending on what style of you like, a more academic one, or you like one that's more colloquial. And then also Wendy mentioned earlier the asynchronous beekeeping fundamentals course. What does that mean? That is basically, if you know, like online courses where you can click through and there's modules and there's little quizzes and drag and drop. We have something like that too that can help you prepare for the exam. We don't grade that. You go through it. It's just helping you to learn. But it's, some people like to learn that way, and you can come back at any time and continue. So it's a great that one was built over like 2 years. That was a great one. Um, Collaborative. So we said, previous one was self-guided, collaborative. And so there's mentorship. We mentioned mentorship is very important. We highly recommend it. We have a mentorship network. So you can connect with other people near you that are interested in mentoring you. Also, Wendy and I are available every week for office hours, every Wednesday. You don't have to email us. You just sign up for a slot, and the slots are always open. So we're very accessible, and we're here to support you. Um, and study groups, do you want to go a little bit more into that, Wendy? I know you already kind of mentioned it, but it's something that,
Yeah,
yeah.
the South Coast Research and Extension Center in Irvine, they are a camp partner and satellite hub. In fact, they've got a full-on apiary there, and some of the members on that OCB team right now and myself are meeting um, monthly, and we're reviewing the study guide. We have extensive questions that we send out, and we get about 3 weeks to move through the questions, answer them, and then we come back together for an hour and a half on a Monday night and review questions that we have some concerns or some curiosity or want to take a deeper dive. And then somebody brings a story or a photo to share, and we get to explore um, just beekeeping at the apprentice level from that perspective. There's also a journey level study guide out of the Mount Diablo Beekeepers Association right now, that their well, study group that, and there's also an apprentice level study group out of that association as well. So if you're in that area, I would highly recommend either joining the OCB team in Irvine or the Mount Diablo Beekeepers Association in Walnut Creek area. UCLA, go go Bruins. They have a couple of apiaries at on top of Life Sciences building, actually, in another yard in Santa Paula. There are also a couple of master beekeepers who earned their capstone, their master designation in the UCLA area by starting up a group called Sunday with the Bees. And every Sunday, gosh, I think they're up to 30 people now, Keon, because
That's
the
pretty quick.
apiaries are pretty large, yeah. And they host hive dives every Sunday, and they alternate between Castaic and Brea. Um, the Valley Hive is also a partner. They're out of Topanga. They're also a nursery, and they also host some pretty interesting science-based beekeeping classes. Most clubs do have science-based beekeeping classes. So if you're looking to get in person to learn as well, join your local bee club, because you won't pay more than, I don't know, 25, maybe $30 for not only to join, but also to be a part of an in-person class. Um, uh, I cover everything, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
also add like in terms of logistics, right? When you join the program, there's a page on our website you get access to that has a link to all these, how to sign up for each of these study groups.
Yeah.
And then there's also even more than these for, we have a lot of partners, so you can
Yeah.
also reach out to that list, which is even bigger. These are just the ones that we have like a very tight relationship to develop a program with that
Yeah.
is for this, like preparing for one of these exams.
Yeah. Well, there we are again.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we're here to support you in your beekeeping journey. And so is Wendy, me, and our director, Dr. Elena Nino. We have office hours weekly, as I mentioned, and we hope that this presentation was helpful to inspire you. Maybe it's not through us, maybe it's through your local beekeeping club, but to get interested in beekeeping and join the community, because it's a lot of fun, and we hope to see you in the program soon. You can email us if you have any questions. We're also going to do an FAQ right now, right after we do this closing. So feel free to stick around, and we're going to talk a little bit more. And yeah, anything else, Wendy?
Just cool fact that I like being a beekeeper and having kept bees for close to 20 years. Anytime I travel anywhere in the world, I always look up where the local organizations are, and you can travel anywhere in the country, internationally. And if you look up beekeeping organizations, you're welcomed. It's an international community that is as connected as a beehive is. It's so collaborative and social. So yeah, we're grateful that you took time out of your very full, busy life to focus on thinking about making a decision around beekeeping. Yeah, thanks for digging in and discerning these really thoughtful questions, and informing yourselves regarding the the route you want to take. Thank you.
Great. So I'm going to end the recording, and then we can go into FAQ.